Hello, David Thornton here. Today I want to show you how to make my orange juice cake. This cake is delicious. It's really good stuff. Now I got this recipe from a friend of mine over in Hickory Valley named Mary McCausland, and I believe she got it from a cook over in a little restaurant over in Halls, Tennessee. But anyway, let's get right at it. It's just really delicious. All right, I'm gonna go over the ingredients with you. So we want one classic yellow cake mix, one 3.4 ounce package of instant vanilla pudding. We got 5 large eggs, 1 cup of orange juice, and a half a cup of vegetable oil. Now, of course, you got to have your bundt cake pan, and I've got some. For the bundt cake pan, you can either butter it and lightly flour it, or grease it, shortening it, and lightly flour it. Or I've got some baking spray that has flour in it that I'm going to use today. So now for the icing or the glaze, once we get the cake done, the glaze consists of 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of sugar, and then we use another 1/4 cup of orange juice in that. And about 5 minutes before the cake comes out, we're going to heat that up and boil it for about 3 minutes. And then when the cake comes out, we'll pour it all over that, down in it, poke some holes in it with a knife, and let it sit for about 5 minutes before we flip it onto a serving tray. All right, let's go ahead and do this. It's just real simple. We're just gonna put everything in the mixing bowl. Got our classic yellow cake mix. We've got our instant vanilla pudding. All right, now I like to put that on the mixer and just let it mix the dry ingredients just a little bit. That's good. Now we're just going to go ahead and add everything else. Let's just go ahead and put the eggs, the orange juice, and the vegetable oil. All right, we're going to mix this for a couple of minutes until it gets good and smooth. Scrape it down maybe once or so. All right, while that's mixing, we're going to spray our bundt cake pan. Now I've got the oven preheated at 325. And we're going to start out cooking this cake for 45 minutes. We'll probably keep an eye on it. When the top here starts getting good and brown, we're going to check it periodically with a toothpick to make sure it's done, not overdone. I like to get this batter in the oven as quickly as possible because it's got that instant pudding mix in it. And if you let it sit in the bowl for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so before you put it in there, that pudding will start to set up. Scrape this down one time. All right, that's been going for about 2 minutes and it's looking good and smooth. So let's go ahead and get this in the pan. All right, just pour it in there as evenly as you can. All right, just make sure it's pretty even. All right, we're gonna get this on in the oven. Now, like I said, I'm gonna set the timer to start off for 45 minutes, but I'm gonna check it before then. All right, the cake's in the oven, and right before it comes out, we'll make the glaze that goes on it. But I'll see you shortly when that cake gets close to being done. All right, our cake's getting close to being done. Let's go ahead and make this glaze that goes on it. I've got a stick of butter and 1 cup of sugar in the saucepan now. Now we're gonna go ahead and add a 1/4 cup of orange juice. We're gonna melt this down and heat it up till it comes to a good rolling boil. And then we'll boil that for 3 minutes and then set it aside until the cake comes out. Now we want to do this pretty close to right before when the cake comes out because we don't want this to cool down. But the cake's got about 6.5, 7 more minutes left. So we'll get this glaze going and we'll be ready when the cake is. All right, now this is the glaze. As you can see, it's boiling really hard. And we want to just let that boil like that and just keep, if you stop stirring it, it'll kind of rise up. But as soon as you start stirring it, it kind of settles back down. But just let this boil for about 3 minutes and then just turn it off. All right, our cake's been in the oven for almost 45 minutes. I'm gonna give it the old toothpick test and see if it's done yet. It's starting to get good and brown on top. All right, toothpick coming out really good and clean. So we're gonna take it out. Now, hopefully you can see it's just slightly brown on top. It's not dark brown at all. All right, we're gonna set it right here. Now we've got our icing ready. We boiled that for 3 minutes. So what we want to do is we want to take just a regular old butter knife and let's put some holes in it about every 2 or 3 inches, just all the way around it. And then we want to just make sure that the glaze will run down in there. All right, so our glaze is still good and hot, and we're just going to pour this just all around the middle into those holes, and then we want to make sure we get all the way around that outside edge good. And we also want to get in the center here. So we want to just pull it back in a few spots so it'll go down in there good. All right. Now we're going to let that cake sit there just like that with that glaze all in it and on it for 5 minutes. And then we'll flip it onto the serving dish. All right, our cake's been sitting with the glaze in it for 5 minutes. So let's turn this rascal over on the serving dish and see how it looks. All right, wish me luck. Looks pretty good. It's not centered on the plate exactly, but there you have Dave's orange juice cake. Man, this stuff is so good. Hey, I appreciate you watching. That cake is really good stuff, and thank you, Mary, for sharing that with me. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the food. Thank you for watching, and this is Dave's orange juice cake. Enjoy. Thank you.